episode 619 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. I'm going to be talking all about last night's AEW All Out pay-per-view where championships were on the line, a Chicago street fight, an unsanctioned steel cage match, and Bryan Danielson put his career on the line once again as he defended the AEW World Championship. Gonna be going over everything that took place at AEW All Out last night. Right here, right now, 360 Wrestling Fanatic. Hello, Wrestling Fanatics. Welcome to 360 Wrestling Fanatic on this Sunday night. I am Lance Brock. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in and listening wherever you are in the world. And you cannot have episode 619 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic with at least a quick shout out at the beginning to the master of the 619 himself, Rey Mysterio. I'm sure I have definitely talked about this in the past on the podcast, but Rey Mysterio, definitely one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Definitely remember when I was younger reading in all my wrestling magazines about this wrestler in Mexico at the time that was awesome in the ring, having these great matches. Finally got to see a little bit of him in ECW. And then, of course, got to see even more of him when he made his debut in WCW. And, of course, went on to have an amazing career in pro wrestling. And now his son, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. But believe me, I'm sure I will be talking more about Rey Mysterio in the future. And I just wanted to mention him, though, because you have to, since this is episode 619 of 360 Wrestling Fanatic. And you can't have episode 619 without mentioning Rey Mysterio. And now, let's get into AEW All Out, which was last night on pay-per-view from the Now Arena in Hoffman Estates, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Our commentators for the evening, we had Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, the Human Suplex Machine Taz, Daddy Magic Matt Menard, and for the last two matches of the evening, good old JR Jim Ross. But first, we started off things with 0 Hour, hosted by Renee Paquette, RJ City, and Jeff Jarrett. And the matches that we saw on the 0 Hour, the Acclaimed, Max Caster and Anthony Bowens with Daddy Ass Billy Gunn in their corner, defeated the Iron Savages, Bronson and Boulder, with Jack Jameson in their corner. Not a bad match. Good pre-show match, because I wouldn't really say it's anything that special. Next up, we have a trios match. We have Hologram teaming with the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions, The Natural, Dustin Rhodes and Sammy Guevara, and they team up and defeat the Premier Athletes, Tony Nese, Arya Daivari, and Josh Woods, with Smart Mark Sterling in their corner. The Bang Bang Gang, Austin Gunn, Colton Gunn, and Juice Robinson in trios action defeat the Dark Order, Evil Uno, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver, Johnny Hungy. And our last match on 0 Hour, we have a 3-way trios match. The Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and Roderick Strong defeated the Beast Mortos, teaming up with Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty, and Top Flight, Dante Martin and Darius Martin, and Action Andretti. Pretty fun match. I'd say for a 0 Hour match, this was pretty entertaining. In our first match on the main card of All Out 2024, MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman taking on Daniel Garcia. This one I enjoyed the build to. A little while back we had MJF taking out Daniel Garcia, injuring the neck. And then at All In, Daniel Garcia showed up to get some revenge on MJF. MJF really selling the neck here. Daniel Garcia going after to get some revenge. But in the end, it is MJF getting the victory. 23 minutes, 42 seconds. Pretty good match to start off the show. I'll give it 4 out of 5 ring bells. Yep. I'm going to try once again to bring back my rating system, the ring bells, for each match, each show. Next up on All Out, the AEW World Tag Team Championships are on the line. The Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Yuta and Matthew Jackson start things off, and then we see some double teaming from Yuta and Castagnoli, getting some wishbones in on the Young Bucks. Then Claudio goes for the giant swing, but the Bucks counter that into the EVP trigger. They go for the cover, but Yuta breaks up the pin, and then they do hit the EVP trigger, and then they go for it again. Claudio counters, and then Castagnoli gets the giant swing on Matthew Jackson. Yuta goes for a splash, but Matthew Jackson gets the knees up and gets the pin. 15 minutes, 51 seconds. The Young Bucks retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Really good match here. I thought this was a fun match to kick off the pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Next up, we have a match for the AEW International Championship. After defeating MJF and bringing back the International Champion, we have Will Ospreay taking on Pac. And all I gotta say for this one was match of the year candidate. And I know we have had quite a few matches this year that I probably have said are match of the year candidates, but this was a very good match. A lot of back and forth between Pac and Ospreay, but Ospreay gets the win with the hidden blade, 20 minutes, 21 seconds. Still AEW International Champion, the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. Definitely recommend this match as well. And there I go, forgetting my rating system. The Tag Team Championship match, I'd give, let's just say 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. And Pac vs. Ospreay, I'd give, I almost want to say 5, but I think I'll go 4.5 out of 5 ring bells for that one. Next up, Chicago Street Fight. Chris Statlander taking on Willow Nightingale. Willow got to pick the stipulation for this one after her and Tomohiro Ishii defeated Statlander and Stokely Hathaway at All In the mixed tag. So she picked a Chicago Street Fight. This one was a great match. We had light tubes, we had tables, we had garbage cans, we had crutches, kendo sticks. And at one point, Statlander put Nightingale through the Spanish announce table, or at least I think it was the Spanish announcers. And Statlander gets the win via submission. Really good match though. Big fan of Willow Nightingale and would have liked to seen her get the win here, but that was not the case. Statlander getting the win at 15 minutes. I would give this match 4 out of 5 ring bells, and definitely a match recommendation for some reason if you did not see All Out last night. That is one that you definitely need to check out. I'm sure you will not regret it. The AEW Continental Championship is on the line in a 4-way match. Freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, the Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe, Konosuke Takeshita, and the AEW Continental Champion Kazuchika Okada. This match was really fun in my opinion. Orange Cassidy, of course, doing the pocket spot. Hands in pocket spot, I should say. And at one point, OC and Mark Briscoe went face to face in the ring, and OC doing his nothing chops, I guess you could call them, and Mark Briscoe doing the same thing back. Just a really fun match to watch. Okada retains, pinning Orange Cassidy 14 minutes 45 seconds. And this match I will give 3.5 out of 5 ring bells. The AEW TBS Championship match is up for grabs next. The AEW TBS Champion Mercedes Moné defending against Hikaru Shida. This one, I just want to say, definitely not a bad match. And I don't really want to say that it was disappointing, but I didn't really think this match was as good as it could have been. especially with the two wrestlers that were in the match, Mercedes Moné and Hikaru Shida, both great wrestlers, but for some reason, I just kind of feel like they didn't really mesh well together in this one, just my opinion. Wouldn't say it was really a bad match though, but like I said, it could have been better. Mercedes Moné getting the win, 16 minutes, 34 seconds to retain the AEW TBS Championship. And next up, the AEW World Championship is on the line. The American Dragon Bryan Danielson taking on Jack Perry. Now, Bryan Danielson adding that pretty much every time he defends the AEW World Championship, pretty much his career is on the line, since he will retire when he loses the championship. Really good match. I thought they did a really good job in this one of making Jack Perry look good. And I could see Jack Perry possibly one day being the AEW World Champion. When exactly, I'm not sure. But I could definitely see one day anyway Jack Perry being in the main event picture in AEW. But still AEW World Champion Bryan Danielson, 27 minutes, 35 seconds. Really good match. I enjoyed it. Then after the match, we see Killswitch attack Bryan Danielson. And then we hear the music of the patriarchy, Christian Cage, come down with Nick Wayne and Mother Wayne, and the contract that he won in the Casino Gauntlet at All In. Looks like he's going to cash in. But then we see Jon Moxley, him, Claudio Castagnoli, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta cut off Christian and the Patriarch at ringside. Looks like they're helping Bryan out, keeping Christian Cage from cashing in that contract. They go back in the ring. Looks like all of the Blackpool Combat Club and Pac back together again. A happy moment, celebrating. But then Claudio Castagnoli attacks Bryan Danielson. Jon Moxley gets a plastic bag, puts it over the head, just like Terry Funk did to Ric Flair back in the day. But not all of the BCC turned on Bryan Danielson. Wheeler Yuta did not, but Pac was holding him back so he could not help Danielson. But one thing, they did not attack Wheeler Yuta. Like, they kind of want him to join. Maybe Wednesday on Dynamite we might see Moxley, Claudio, Pac, and Marina Shafir, who is there as well, tell Wheeler they want him to join them, which hopefully, if this does happen, that I'm hoping that he might side with Danielson. Actually, big fan of Wheeler Yuta, and I think that the best thing would be to keep him as babyface, have him side with Bryan Danielson in this situation. But that's just me, though. That's what I think anyway. And now time for the main event. of All Out, and a lights out unsanctioned steel cage match. The first ever lights out unsanctioned steel cage match in AEW history. And I knew this one going into it was going to be brutal, knew it was going to be violent, knew it was probably going to be bloody, and it definitely was. We start things off with Swerve attacking Hangman on the floor, which I don't even know I said who's in this match yet, but Hangman Adam Page versus Swerve Strickland. But Swerve attacks Hangman on the floor, and then while that's going on, Prince Nana starts throwing in a bunch of weapons in the ring and a box as well. And of course, a lot of weapons in this one. It's bloody, just like I expected. We have a stapler in this one. Swerve is busted open, and they, of course, use the cage as a weapon. There's a cinder block, like I said, a staple gun, and at one point, Hangman gets a needle, stabs it in the mouth of Swerve Strickland, and then a chair shot, bending the steel chair over the head of Swerve Strickland. Hangman Adam Page gets the win by knockout, 31 minutes, 30 seconds, to win the main event of All Out 2024. And I thought the main event was really good. And I know I forgot some ratings there for the last few matches. I apologize. For the Continental Championship match, that one I'd say probably 3 out of 5 ring bells. And the TBS Championship match, I'd say only maybe 2.5 out of 5 ring bells. I apologize if that is a little too low, but like I said, I didn't think that one was quite as good as it could have been. The AEW World Championship match, I thought was great. I'd give that one 4 out of 5 ring bells. And the unsanctioned lights out cage match, I'd give that one 4 out of 5 ring bells as well. And that was AEW All Out. Overall, as a whole pay-per-view, I'd have to give that 8.5 out of 10 ring bells overall. I thought it was a really good show. Had a lot of really good wrestling on it. I would recommend, if for some reason you missed it last night, I would recommend checking out the replay, either on Triller or Bleacher Report or internationally, wherever you can watch AEW pay-per-views. So I definitely enjoyed it. And thank you for tuning in to 360 Wrestling Fanatic episode 619. I hope that all of you enjoyed All Out last night, just like I did. And you can leave your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section. either right here on Spreaker, YouTube, or wherever you listen to 360 Wrestling Podcasts at. If the website or app you listen to on has a comment section, let me know what you thought of it. And I will be back right here tomorrow morning for the Monday episode of 360 Good Morning Wrestling Fans. So I hope all of you that are listening right now will join me. But until tomorrow morning, I am Lance, and I am a wrestling fanatic.